Silly AI, they don't know how victory points work. If I walk in your city, that means I win automatically. You lose, you have to surrender, those are the rules. Hello everybody, my name is YujimboXD and welcome to the channel. Or should I say, mi llamo YujimboXD y bienvenido al canal. Yes, because this week we're looking at the new DLC for Hearts of Iron, Trial of Allegiance, the South America DLC pack, or as they're calling it, Country Pack number 4. So yes, this is the new Country Pack, and instead of doing a Germany or Japan rework, we get South America, a continent that was barely involved in World War II. I'm not sure who was asking for this, but we'll give it a look anyways. So, this is $15, so it is $5 cheaper than the last DLC, Arms Against Tyranny. So, what are you getting for $15, and is it worth it? Well, today we'll take a look at it and see what new focus trees they've offered, and we've reviewed DLC once before on the channel, so I think just like last time, we'll look at the new focus trees they've added, and then we'll take a deeper dive in the DLC by playing through one of the focus trees. So let's get into it and I'll explain as we go along. So being that this is a country pack, I wouldn't call this a full DLC like the last one, like Arms Against Tyranny, because it doesn't really add any new features. It only adds new focus trees. So what do we have? We have new focus trees for Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Paraguay, and Uruguay, as well as a few new units and arts and voiceovers and music. So not as much as last time, which is a little disappointing, but is the $15 worth it for basically just focus trees alone? Something that you could ordinarily get from a mod. To find out, let's take a look at the focus trees. First up, we have the big boy of South America, Brazil. I have looked at them once before on the channel, and they basically played like the South American version of Canada, where I was able to join the Allies and beat up the Italians and Germans, and I got a few achievements out of it at the time. But now that they've revived South America, what does their focus tree look like now? Well, first off, I would say the meat of all these focus trees and the main thing that differentiates them from each other are the political side of the focus tree. So just like in typical fashion, we have the left-hand side of the tree, which is communist. We have the middle, which is your non-aligned or democratic path, and then your right-hand side, which is more fascist. And we also have an economic focus tree, and we also have our military focus tree. And get used to looking at this because all the South American countries basically have the same focus tree as far as military buildup goes. So that is a bit disappointing. And as usual, they have offered some ahistorical paths that you can go down. So you can flip to communism and start revolutions, or maybe you just want to play it safe and help out the Allies. It's really up to you. So you do have a few replayability options as Brazil. Next up, we have the Long Boy, or also as it's known, Chile, nestled in the south of South America. And when we take a look at the focus tree, just like last time, we have our typical fascist tree, and we have our communist and democratic tree. And interestingly, their non-aligned route is a bit different from the others. They have a military junta route, or the one that I would be interested in looking at, reuniting the indigenous peoples of America. Also, they do have a economic focus tree, which is similar but slightly different from the other ones. And of course, here's the military tech tree, which is exactly the same. Maybe one day we'll get a chance to look at Chile and the indigenous run, but that is not the run we're doing today. But it does look interesting. And next up, we have Paraguay, and in the marketing for this, they describe it as a minor focus tree, and boy, they weren't kidding. It is about half the size of the other focus trees. So we have our political focus tree, which is limited to just a handful of items, not even strictly an ideological focus tree, and the economic focus is a bit more stripped down, but hey, at least we got the same military focus trees as the other. And right alongside Paraguay, we have Uruguay and its kind of creepy flag. Just like the other one, this is also considered a minor focus tree, and similar to Paraguay, is more focused on just doing a handful of items as opposed to a whole ideological focus. We have the same stripped down economic focus tree and the same military focus tree as every other South American nation. Weirdly, the military focus tree seemed to be more robust than the political one for these two nations. And moving on, we have the last country for the night that I was intentionally saving, and the one we're going to look at, Argentina. And we haven't had a good achievement run in a while, so I figured I'd come out of the corner swinging and try and get a few achievements while we were looking at this. There's a few that look manageable, but I don't know realistically how many I can get. I only in theory know what I'm doing. So we have historical AI on and Iron Man mode on. All right, let's get into it. All right, so here we are in Argentina, once considered almost a great power. Call it meddling by foreign wars or internal corruption, but either way, that ended up exploding their economy, and they're no longer considered in the running for the great powers. So, state of things right now are not looking great for us, but I think we can turn it around with our leader, Pedro, over here. And I swear, these South American guys, they think they look fancy in their military outfits, but I swear they just look like a cruise ship captain to me. But let's take a look at the focus tree quick before we get too deep into it and select our path. We have our left communist path, we have our unaligned / democratic path in the middle, and the one we're going to go, which is the fascist path, which has 2 flavors, and we're going to go with the nationalists. So we'll start there. And then of course we have our economic focus, and then of course L military tree, the only one you ever need. And we're going to get ourselves a fascist demagogue. We are going to need 60% support to be able to complete the Union Nationale. So we'll start boosting that now. And while we're waiting to boost this, I think we might take advantage of the early game and try and get Uruguay. They don't seem to have many troops at the moment, if any. All right, we have finished our war goal. Now we can try and annex them, but it might anger Brazil a little bit. But what if we just do it really quickly? They only have 1 division. Maybe we can just walk around them. Here we go. Just walk around their troops into their capital. Silly AI, they don't know how victory points work. If I walk in your city, that means I win automatically. You lose, you have to surrender, those are the rules. Whoops, I forgot. In order to get this one achievement to work, we are going to have to puppet Uruguay instead. So I'm just going to release them real quick. I actually thought the Brazilians might immediately attack us, but maybe they're giving us some time, which is fine. I think I actually have to create a faction first for the achievement to fire, so that's all right. But we do now have the fascists in charge, so we lose our El Capitan and get this boring fellow instead, but we do get at least a kind of interesting flag to go with it. Well, if Brazil won't stop us, then let's see if we can bully some more of our neighbors, like Paraguay. All right, we finished justifying, now we can get Paraguay. No idea what's going to happen, but they look pretty undefended to me. And there we go, Paraguay down. All right, and I think we're going to spend a minute here building up while I think we get ready to invade our next person, unless somebody else wants to get all mad that we're getting all huge now, but we'll have to just keep an eye on it. All right, and we can now deal with Chile, and I think we're going to send them an ultimatum, but honestly, I hope they say no and I get a war goal instead. It would be easier to deal with them now than having to puppet them, kick them out, and annex them later for the other achievement to conquer all of South America. There we go, just as we were hoping for, they said no, which gives us a war goal to annex them now, which we're going to do. Sorry, this isn't personal, just for the achievements. I hope you understand. Maybe someday I'll see your achievements. And there we go. I outnumbered them, so walking around their troops was pretty easy, especially when you're a long boy like Chile. And we'll steal their navy. Well, since they seem too afraid to fight me, I think it's time that we deal with our old enemy, Brazil, and get an achievement out of it. All right, we have finished our justification on Brazil, and I think it's time to get them. How dare you speak Portuguese? It'd be a whole lot easier if everyone just spoke Spanish. So I think it's time to get Brazil. Hopefully we can make a lot of quick encirclements. Hey, but there we go. There is our first achievement for the night. And this is why we kept Uruguay around. As either Brazil or Argentina be in a faction with Uruguay while at war with Brazil / Argentina. Now you know why we kept them around, but we'll have to clean them up later. For now, let's see if we can encircle some Brazilians. There we go. Had to chase them to the sea, but I finally got a bunch of them encircled. And there you go. And that's how you beat Brazil. Not too bad. Didn't have to fight directly over the rainforest, so we got to fight over the nicer bits. But we can just annex them all now and steal their navy. All right, up next, Peru. All right, we have finished justifying on Peru. Let's try and get them. This might turn into a bit of a slog, but we will see. I do have a naval invasion set up to try and make this as painless as possible. There's only room for one fascist in this continent. Oh, and let's use their cipher as well. There we go. Made our landing around them. That should make this a little bit easier. Oh my god, they're just turtling up in these mountains. This sucks. Oh my god, that took forever to push through the mountains to finally get to Lima. But I knew Peru was going to be a tough nut. But thankfully, the pain is over, at least for one of us. And there we go. There goes Peru. And we're leaving Bolivia alive for achievement reasons. Next up, Ecuador. Just because I don't want to have to naval invade the Galapagos, so it's easier to go through them and just take it all. Alright, you haven't missed much. We have finished justifying on Ecuador. It's time to keep adding to our fellowship. These guys clearly don't know how to pull off the Ethiopian mountain defense. And there we go, that was a lot easier than Peru. Next up, Colombia. I think you can see where this is going. While we're at it, why don't we justify in Venezuela too? Let's just get this over with. All right, we have finished justifying on Colombia, so let's deal with them first. I wouldn't even call this snowballing. They don't even have enough troops to cover their whole border. And there we go, Colombia down. It's all right, Venezuela. There's no need to panic and put your troops on the border. My ship is just outside of your capital for a holiday. Yeah, a holiday. All right, time to get Venezuela. We could have been friends because you're a fascist, but I need these sweet achievements. So it's time for you to go. There we go, landed in their capital. How do you do? And there we go. All right, in order to get the last few achievements of the night, we are going to have to take the pieces that the Allies control in order to control all of South America. So that will include fighting the Allies, but we just need to take and hold it. We don't need to capitulate them. So we got a war goal from the Argentine island sovereignty against the UK. So we're going to go ahead and use that now. And we also have our naval invasions going after South Georgia and the Falklands. Don't forget about those. Hey, there we go. There's our other achievement. Islas Malvinas. As Argentina, hold the Falkland Islands in South Georgia for 73 days consecutively, which I guess doesn't include all the Falklands, but that's good enough for the achievement. Wow, look how many British divisions we just got encircled there. No wonder they were taking so long to crush. There we go, just wear them down. Oh my goodness, that took forever. I kicked out the colonizers ages ago from South America, and hopefully now if I annex Uruguay, that should give me the Bolivia achievement. Hey, there we go. Dang puppets. Lamento Bolivio. As Argentina, own all of Latin America except Bolivia. So yes, we had to get rid of our puppet, which took forever. Now, there's one last achievement we can get. Well, there's two, but I don't have time for the other one. I need Germany to die, and in practice, that didn't actually happen. I don't know what about this new patch, but it stalemated. So I'm not gonna worry about that one. I'll save it for later. But anyways, let's get the last achievement. Oh, we do have to justify first. I should have done that before. That's fine. All right, we finished justifying on Bolivia. Time to get the last achievement for the night. There can only be one master of South America, and I like it this shade of blue. Nah, I'm blue. Nah, ba-dee, ba-ba-die. And there we go. The last achievement of the night. We just had to take all of the Amazon, rumble in the jungle, own all the Amazon states as a South American nation. All right, but I think that is it for the Argentine tree. There is a few more army things, but at this point it is just go with the flow. So final thoughts on the DLC. I personally think it's a bit overpriced. Honestly, if they had either added features or maybe given us all of South America, this would have been a better deal. So I don't really feel like it was worth it personally. Most of these focus trees you're only going to play once, so maybe get it when it's on sale. That would be my recommendation. But for what it's worth, I did enjoy the Argentina tree. It was a lot of fun. So not as good as Arms Against Tyranny, let's put it that way. Not one of the better DLCs, but I guess it's not a full DLC, it's a country pack, so make of that what you will. All right, well, I think that is enough for one night. It was fun to come back and get some achievements. I haven't gone completely rusty playing mods. I still know how to play the game and achieve when I need to. So I think this is a good place to stop. I hope you found this informative. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's any other suggestions for anything else you'd like to see me do, or mods, or review something other games, just let me know down in the comments below. All right, so adios, mi amigos. Till next time.